All right, y'all. Yes, I'm sure you read by the title. Dak Prescott's better than Carson Wentz. But let's talk about it. All right. So I saw a meme over the weekend on Facebook. It was basically poking fun at Dak Prescott, I guess in his whole contract situation, in which he was stating that I'm the best in the league or the best in the division, blah, blah, blah. And uh, in that, it showed Carson Wentz when he said, I'm the best in the division, right? To which I responded, I'd take Dak over Carson Wentz, and people thought I was crazy. So I said, okay, well let's talk about it, right? Show me the record. They responded with, well, Carson Wentz, he's been hurt. The best ability is availability. So he can't have a better record because he's been hurt. Well, let's look at that, right? Because I'm not lazy. So let's dig a little deeper into that. Carson Wentz went 9-7 last year. However, it took until basically them beating the Cowboys that last I think it was week 16 game that they barely scraped by. And if you recall in that game, my guy, Dak Prescott, played with a wrecked shoulder and was a drop pass by Michael Gallup from tying that game and possibly winning it. It was only one game that separated the Dallas Cowboys from the Philadelphia Eagles. But even with that being said, Dak Prescott was second in the league in passing yardage, which was superior to everybody, to include Carson Wentz, with the exception of maybe Jameis Winston, excuse me. He was fourth in total QBR, where Carson Wentz was 11th. And this isn't a knock on Carson Wentz. I like Carson Wentz. Well, that's like is too strong. He's a good quarterback. I think he's a very good quarterback. But I question if we saw an aberration the year he had that MVP type of season where he got hurt, because we haven't really seen that Carson Wentz since. All right. So he had a good year this year, but the excuse is he didn't have receivers. And then when he got into the playoffs with a chance to finally, make some noise, he played like 3 minutes and got knocked out. The year before, he got knocked out. Didn't play in the playoffs. The year before that, he got knocked out. Torn ACL. They ended up winning a Super Bowl without him. The year before that was his rookie season. He got handed over the keys, but you know who won Rookie of the Year? That's right, Dak Prescott, playing in the same league. Now, the second year, granted, the same excuse you guys like to use for Carson Wentz that he didn't have a full deck. Neither did Dak Prescott, right? So his second year was the year Ezekiel Elliott was suspended for 6 games. They still went 9-7, barely missed the playoffs. And we had an aging Des Bryant, and we had Cole Beasley, and we had an aging Jason Witten. Now, I'm not saying these are bad players, but I want to put to bed the myth that the Cowboys somehow have superior talent to the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm pausing because I want everybody to think about that, right? So the Cowboys have so much more talent than the Philadelphia Eagles, but Carson Wentz and the Philadelphia Eagles went to the Super Bowl with Nick Foles at the helm, and Nick Foles won the Super Bowl. So how do the Dallas Cowboys have how do the Dallas Cowboys have superior talent to the Philadelphia Eagles when without Carson Wentz, they won a Super Bowl? Not only did they win a Super Bowl, they went back to the playoffs the next year and won another playoff game. There's no tangible evidence that shows that Carson Wentz is better. We're talking about a 4-year sample size, right? Dak Prescott's record's better. His career QBR is better. In his 4 years, he's been top 5 in QBR. 4 years, he's been top 5 in QBR all but once. Conversely, Carson Wentz has been top 5 in QBR one time. He hasn't even had a top 10 finish in QBR the other 3 years. So you tell me how Carson Wentz is better than Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has more yards. He has a better completion percentage. In fact, the year that Carson Wentz was in the running for MVP, Dak Prescott had a better completion percentage than him. For his career, he has a better completion percentage than him. His total QBR for his career is better than him. Carson Wentz, let's dig a little deeper because, again, I wasn't lazy with this. So let's dig a little deeper, right? So they're both actually tied at 97 for passing touchdowns, right? Okay, cool. But factor in that Dak Prescott was kind of in a more run orient. The reason people think Carson Wentz is better than Dak Prescott is because Dak Prescott was in a what do you call it? Game manager, right? He was in a run oriented offense, whereas Carson Wentz is supposedly a gunslinger, but they're tied in 90 with 97 touchdowns. Explain that to me. Oh yeah, that's right. He was hurt. Right. Okay, I got you. But Dak Prescott doesn't throw the ball all over the field. So, we'll throw that aside, right? So let's also factor in that not only does Dak Prescott have 97 passing touchdowns, he has 21 other rushing touchdowns. He also has eight fourth quarter comebacks. Carson Wentz has 6 fourth quarter comebacks. Okay, that's close, right? But Dak's still better. Carson Wentz has 8 game-winning drives. Dak has 14. That sounds like he's better too. So let's go to the playoff record. Oh, okay. So Carson Wentz has actually been healthy going into the playoffs one time. Lasted 3 minutes. They lost that game. His record is officially 0-1. Dak Prescott won a playoff game. He's 1 for 2 in the playoffs. And let's give more context to that. So the year they went 13-3 and Dak Prescott won Rookie of the Year, his first playoff game was against Aaron Rodgers. Now, I don't know if anybody remembers that game, and I'm not going to say much about it. They lost. The Green Bay Packers won. But it took every ounce of Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers, going God mode, for them to win that game. If anybody remembers, that was Dak Prescott's rookie year, like I stated. And what ended up happening was the Cowboys went down 21-3 at one point in that game because they kept trying to pound the rock with Zeke, and they didn't want to put too much on Dak Prescott, right? That game ended 34-31 because Dak Prescott not only brought them back in the game, they actually tied the game and had an opportunity to win that game, and it took Aaron Rodgers to drive them and kick a game-winning field goal. That's my guy, okay? To come back against Aaron Rodgers with 21-3 down as a rookie, I think is an intangible that you don't typically see in Carson Wentz. He's super talented, but I think there's a reason why the Philadelphia Eagles were building a shrine for Nick Foles. I hear he's not the greatest team guy, but I'm not gonna go too deep into that. I'm not gonna knock them so much personally. I just want somebody to come at me with the numbers and show me how Carson Wentz is better than Dak Prescott. Now, I want to hear what the excuse is going to be this year because they went ahead and they drafted receivers, so now he's got weapons. He's got more linemen that have made the first team All-Pro or Pro Bowl than the Dallas Cowboys have had. Travis Frederick retired. Not only did he retire, he was suffering from an autoimmune disease for the last year and some change. So 4 Pro Bowlers to 2, I don't see how Philly's inferior to Dallas. So that's my take for now, guys. If anything, if you want to rebuttal it, put your response in the comments. I'll be more than happy to talk to you guys about it. And what else do you guys want to talk about going forward? So For instance, what do you guys think of the Rams uniforms? And I think I'm gonna do a video on the Rams themselves because I think that is a team that's imploding, and I've maintained that for quite some time. Let me know what you guys think of that. I think I'll do another video on that one. All right. Peace out. Be safe.